So these are the Asics Metaracers, the new edition for Tokyo, and they have a carbon plate in. And yeah, obviously it looks very slick here at the bottom. They've got a new foam as well that they've started with, so it's not your typical feeling of an Asics shoe, and quite soft and quite responsive, and definitely more the direction of a true natural racing flat with a carbon plate in it. Checking out the Asics Metaracers for a little bit of a run. I've done a couple runs in them already, about 5 runs in them, some speed work, some 320 a kilometer pace, some easy, did a long run in them, and yeah, you guys can check them out. They're nice and bright, and got Tokyo written on the side, so yeah, hope you guys enjoy the reading. Heading out for an easy jog. So guys, it's time for my second review here on my YouTube channel, and the Asics Metaracer. And yeah, I've been testing the shoe for the past 3 weeks, and yeah, pretty positive things coming out of the shoe. So this is Asics' first carbon plated shoe, if I'm not mistaken. And yeah, it's aimed at marathon and half marathon, and yeah, it's designed for the Tokyo Olympics. And yeah, I think what I can start off with the shoe is that I've started testing carbon plate shoes for the past about 2 or 3 months, and this is definitely one of the ones that I saw that was quite interesting. And yeah, they've got a different ploy at the carbon-based plated shoe. A lot of companies have got quite a high stack height, especially on the heel and towards the forefoot side of the shoe, running on a 4 to 8 mil drop. I think Hoka is somewhere around the region of about 0 drop or 1 millimeter drop for the Hoka. This one I think comes at somewhere in the region of about 8 millimeters heel to toe drop. I'm not sure of the exact specifications of the height from the heel to toe drop, but yeah, it definitely feels like quite a stable shoe. The first run in the shoe, I definitely noticed on the forefoot, it's not as bouncy, or it does not have as much of a spring, say as the Nikes do, as well as the Hokas. They're quite a lot more of a rigid platform. This Metaracer has got, it's a little bit more suppler and a little bit softer. So yeah, it's definitely the plate runs more in the midfoot area of the shoe, and it's kind of a crab claw. I've heard it's kind of a crab claw type plate. So it's definitely firmer towards the middle of the shoe, and in the forefoot of the shoe it's definitely got a little bit softer, but still has a great roll off when you're going at speed. The shoe is more of like a traditional style racing flat, so whereas a lot of the new carbon plate shoes nowadays, their stack height is really high, so they've kind of got a little bit more flex, especially on the lateral side and the internal side of your running gait. So while you're running, you kind of, especially if you go through the corners, you notice it a hell of a lot when you go with something like the Nikes or the Hokas a little bit. You tend to squidge a little bit in the corners. With this shoe, you don't at all. which is quite nice, and definitely something if you're crossing over from traditional racing flat, easier probably to get used to this Asics Metaracer than it is to get used to some of the other carbon plate options out there today. One thing I did notice about the shoe is the foam is a lot softer compared to most of the other Asics shoes. So Asics, I ran in the fast twitch, wow, probably 15 years ago, 10, 15 years ago. I ran all year in one set of the fast twitch shoes. And yeah, I was definitely quite a fan of that. And yeah, so I think trying to test these Asics out over the next couple of months to see how they feel is going to be a great thing. Moving back onto the upper, so I'll start off with the upper of the shoe. I kind of gone on a tiny bit about the plate already, which is quite important, as well as how soft the shoe is. I think those are two really important things for racing flats now. How much stack height is there? Does it have a carbon plate? And the third thing, I think one of the biggest things is almost the lockdown of the shoe. You know, how when you tighten yourself into the shoe, how does your foot feel? Does it have a wide toe box area? So this shoe's got quite a wide toe box area. I've got a reasonably wide foot. So I definitely noticed that in this shoe I had no problems whatsoever with the toe box. The toe box was perfect. The lockdown of the shoe is amazing. I mean, the heel cup and the lockdown of the shoe is great. You really do feel locked in when you tighten yourself, especially through the corners. You feel it great. I even hit some off-road trails in the shoe, so I did some tempo runs. Also off-road, and I went through rocks, went through gravel, went through everything, and these things held up extremely well. And yeah, so I think the upper is great. The heel counter, or the heel part in the shoe, is really great. Definitely, yeah, it's a lightweight material, so you can see in it's extremely lightweight material, and they've even got a hole right in the front of the shoe here, right in the toe. This is supposed to help with ventilation running straight through the shoe, so it kind of helps cool your foot down, which actually you do feel a tiny bit, especially if you have very thin socks on. One thing I'll head through, the next part of the shoe I'll head to is the traction of the shoe. So in the bottom, you can see there's lots of little grooves that kind of run through the front. It's kind of like a fingerprint, it looked like, which is quite interesting. And the grip on the shoe is amazing. It definitely superior to some of the other racing flats I tried out there. I'm not sure exactly. It's a type of flight foam that's just below the sole here, or the traction part of the shoe, and it's definitely very, very grippy. So heading through the corners in the wet, I had no slippage, no problems. Even on the gravel, I had very little slippage, which I would have expected to be more slippage. But yeah, I think yeah, I'm definitely enjoying this shoe thus far. I have yet to do any speed towards 3 minutes a K or under 3 minutes a K, where I really think the shoe will come a bit more alive. I've noticed with carbon plate shoes recently that the faster you go, the more you feel the carbon plate, and especially, you know, even if you go kind of slowish sometimes, well, it tends to make you about a little bit faster when you do your easy run by 10, 15 odd seconds per kilometer. In my case, maybe in some other guys' cases, it's maybe only 4 to 5 seconds difference per K. You might not be able to see that. But yeah, I think overall I'll give the shoe, wow, what will I give it? I think I'll give it about an 8 out of 10 on the Murray scale. And yeah, I think it's definitely a move in the right direction for Asics. They've definitely, you know, looked towards more being a little bit the old school style racing shoes and training shoes, and they're definitely trying to hype things up a little bit with the Nova Blast, as well as the Metaracer, which is their carbon plate shoe. And yeah, I heard obviously they're going to be coming out with a carbon plate marathon shoe somewhere down the line, which is quite exciting, and we're looking forward to that. But yeah, I'll show you guys as well just kind of how soft the foam is here. You can literally push into the foam, and it really does flex quite a lot in the foam, which is really, really nice. And yeah, so that's the review for the Asics Metaracer. And yeah, go out and buy a pair, give it a try. If you like more the traditional style racing shoe, but now you want a bit more speed, you're doing a race that's in a hot area, this is probably your go-to racing flat. I would go probably up to the region of a half marathon for most people. Full marathon in the shoe, I think maybe for the elites. I would say elites only if you're going to run up to a full marathon in the shoe. Yeah, so I think overall it'll be a great tempo shoe as well. You can have it in your training, your rollover of shoes for doing tempo runs, like the Nike Zoom Fly 3. This is kind of in that same area as that shoe. A lot lighter as well. The shoe's extremely light, so you can just see here the weight of the shoe. It's I think 208 grams or 210 grams, very close to some of Nike's racing flats as well. So it's definitely competitive and definitely in the market. And I think one of the dopest things that I've seen is it's got this Tokyo here written on the heel, and that's pretty sweet. That's the first time I've seen something related to the Tokyo Olympics. So yeah, that's the Asics Metaracer.